40. Okay. Um, this is not at the right length, but it's not a problem. Remember, I didn't cut this yet. And because I didn't cut it yet, I can simply move it down. No big deal. No big deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it into place, get it to where I want it. Okay, that corner is done. Now I need to cut this, and this is when it is a big deal, because I have nowhere to move this. Once I cut it, I've cut it. So, my theory is, if I cut it too long, I can always cut back. Alright? So I'm going to cut it knowingly long. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, putting this in and bending it up. This side I had the reinforcer. This side I'm not putting it on. Why? I'm making it easier for me for demonstration purposes. In building a bridge, you'll be stronger with it than without it. Also notice I'm not putting any glue. Why? If there's a mistake, I want to be able to correct it. And I can't do that if I glue it in. Alright, it's in there. I'm going to bend it. As they say, the gods are smiling on me because it is right. Okay? So, I now need to close this off. I now need to close this off. I'm deciding how I want to do that, because I have two ways to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this a little too much, about a 1/2 inch above the top. I didn't even make a 1/2 inch above the top. I'm going to have to bend this in. Okay, so I'm going to connect these two and then bend over. Connect these two and then bend over. I'm trying to decide which one I want to cut. I usually do it the other way. This is what I'm thinking. If I put this in, no, I want to cut here. Okay. Okay. Forgive me, I'm laughing at myself because on the cooking shows on TV, they always do one before the show, and after they do all this stuff, they reach behind them and pull out one that's really done. See? So what I should have done was built one of these, and when you weren't looking, pull it out and say, this is it done. But no, I got to do this right in front of you. Okay, stupid me, right? Okay, so I want this to go in here, so I need to cut it. I'm cutting it longer than I need to in case I need to. Cut it again. And I need to bend it. Okay? I was bending it to make sure it's lining up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little bit more off. I don't want to take forever getting it in there. You might be asking, hey, you're not gluing anything together. I can come back later and glue these in one at a time. Trying to make it smaller so I can get them in together. I'm overlapping. I'm having difficulty. I don't have enough play in it to move it the way I need to move it. That's my outside shell, and it may look like I've placed this tape down arbitrarily, but I didn't. The first thing I want to do once my shell is in place is I want to put in my vertical members. Not diagonals, vertical members. And though you're looking at it, let me state the obvious. You do your shell first. You do your shell first. Okay? Do the shell first. Now, if I don't put these in at the right length, what happens to this line here is that it becomes wobbly because one was too long, one was too short, so that becomes very important that we get these to be the right length. Okay, I cut that one on an angle. That's what I was looking for. This one is not on an angle. Good. I don't want it on an angle. But before I do that, I'm going to do something else to make my life a little bit easier. And that is I'm going to put my gusset in place. Why are you doing that? I'm putting the gusset in place because when the gusset is on the other side of this bridge and I lay down this piece, the gusset will hold this piece and this piece at the same time, adding to the stability of it. Adding to the stability. So, I'm centering it. And by centering, what I mean is there's as much gusset on this side as the other side of this member. I forgot which side was straight. Again, I can't glue more on, so I'm cutting it too big on purpose. The people that bought these straws, unfortunately, did not know what they were doing. I did not ask for black straws. I asked for clear straws because I need to see what I'm doing. I'm having trouble down here. This is moving on me. I want to tape it again because I can't get it in place if it's moving. It has to be still. I need the same thing up above. I'm taping it so it stays still while I'm putting the piece on. That's about as close as I can get it. Okay, good. Now that's in it still. Okay, so I didn't cut it even. Got a little piece hanging up here. Still too big. A hair too big. Oh, I see what I did. Early on this was cut. Sorry. Okay, I like that. I'm not gluing it yet. I'm gonna get the other ones in place, and then I'm gonna glue it. I want them. I'm gonna test and make sure everything is working. What's the word "working" mean? That they're all the same length. Okay. You know, it's funny, but I think this one is going to end up being too short. It's that's wild. Almost there. Okay. Now, I took care of putting the gusset here. I'm going to put the gusset here as well. And this is going to be in the way. I'm gonna move this just in case. It may be in the way. I don't want any complications. I need to lift this up just a little bit. I don't want the glue going to someplace that's not supposed to go. And I have to make sure I center it. I don't have to center it. Aesthetically, I think it'll look better if it is centered. Okay. Now, I have those two in place. And I'm confused. There we go. Okay. I can put this in place. I'm going to put a little bit at the top, a little bit at the side, top, same side. And I have excess glue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this in place to make sure pressure is going in that direction, pressure is going in that direction. And while it's doing that, I'm pulling off the excess glue. For the corner, is this one? Yeah. For the corner, this is an odd shape, and so I'm going to cut it to that shape. If I did that, okay. And so that's the gusset for that part. I want a piece down here. I'm going to move this tape out of my way and move it up. Okay. And I want another gusset here. Okay, two places. I want it along here. I want it along here. Okay. Come on. Okay. Come on. is the right piece. Yeah. Okay. Now I can glue this. Top. Top. And this time I'm going to do it right on the paper to make sure the glue is in the right place. The first time I put it on the straw, and I got excess glue. And I don't like messing with the excess glue. It takes too long to fool around with. Now I should not have that. See, I don't have that problem. All right. Just as I went through a learning curve, you will go through a learning curve. Now later I'm going to do the same thing with this one over here. But I'm not doing this one right now because you've seen me do this one. But what you need to see is this business of putting the diagonal on. So let's assume I built everything, right? That is to say, I built this vertical. Now, what I want to do is get the diagonal. And it's easier than you think. If you, I'm not going to say this. Can we see this up here? Yeah. I'm going to do it on a bigger piece of paper. Where's my writing utensil? Come on. Come on. Okay. Well, I need you to see the angle that I'm working with. I have to make sure that the straw is snug in here. And how I do that, and I'm going to draw it, and when I draw it, you'll get a better idea what I'm talking about. And I'm going to blacken in the piece that I'm about to put in. In order for this to work, I have to cut it on an angle. What some people when they're building is they'll take this and they'll place it in like that. They'll do it like that. Let me just show it too. Okay, I want to be sure that it gets in the video. When you do it this way, notice the gap. I'm going to put darkening in the gap so you know what I'm talking about. I should have brought another color out here. That dark spot is where people put glue. And they say, oh, that'll hold it. No, it won't. Intuitively, you know, if you were on a bridge and you saw a bunch of glue, you get off the bridge. Okay? So I have to cut it on an angle. That's what all that moulding was about. I must cut it on an angle. Okay, this, I'm trying to show you the angle. This does not have an angle. This one does. Okay, so I have the angle cut, and what I'm going to have to do is cut the angle on the other part and straight across, and I'm going to cut it too long, doing what we did before, making sure Now, I can pretend I did that right. I owe you better than that. I'm not going to pretend. I cut it too short. I had the right angle, but it was too short. That's why you don't order black. Right there, right there, okay. 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 And I'm going to put glue on the paper. And glue at the end. When you're done, just as we had gussets on the inside, I'm going to lay this down so you can physically see it, but I can't glue it in place because I have another member coming here, and that member is going to lay on that piece. So I don't want to glue this on and have to take it apart. But let's pretend that this piece is in place. If that were in place and I have glue on this, I would then put that right there. Does that make sense? Okay. Now this end over here is done. Alright, so I don't have to pretend. It is done. And so that would go there, glue it, and this piece is done. So, glue, 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 glue. Okay. You will find that what we did was the toughest part of what you're going to do. Why is it tough, Rivers? You're making mistakes. You're human. You're cutting again and again and again. But let me see if I can encourage you just for a moment. Ladies, think back when you first learned how to braid your hair. You remember when you got done and Mom said, "Let me take care of that for you," and she took it out and did it again? Well, by the time you get to your second side, you're going to work out all the kinks. This one here is just straight. I've got one diagonal. And I want to quickly say, I set this up to show how to do a detailed drawing. I would not have this in the center. The reason being is if I want to put weight on a bridge, I want the weight in the center, not that. I would move that over. And I would move that over. This was for drawing purposes. So don't copy this and go, "Well, you did it." Well, I was demonstrating how to do a top. Alright? If this was my bottle, I wouldn't put the bottle over here. It would be lopsided. I'd put it dead in the center. Alright? Now that's my recommendation. Obviously you do it the way you want to do it. I'm not trying to dictate to you how to do it. okay, and doing that. So I'm going to leave that like that, and hopefully I haven't bored you half to death, but I probably have. I'm going to stop this.